You know what? I'm going to start talking right now and I'm going to say, hey, everybody, welcome to Toolbox Tuesday. Yes, that's right. We are coming live from the Pay Compass Studios located in beautiful downtown Anywhere, USA. Today, we're going to talk to a brand new referral partnership that's coming on board here with the Pay Compass, and they're known as mojoPOS. Now, before I kick it off, what I want to do is I want to say to all the familiar faces that I see on here, some of the folks that I've worked with historically over the past 12 years, I'm glad to be working with you again. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting as of yet, let me introduce myself. My name is Scott Roberge. I have been in the fintech industry for about 12 years, and I just recently came on board as a solutions coordinator. I'm going to be working side by side with Jeannie Reese, and I'm going to be qualifying accounts with you. I'll be doing some product demonstrations for you and your merchants. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I am so happy to be on board over here. And before we kick things off, and before I introduce my guest today, I want to put it out there to you that while we're going through today's content, you're going to have questions, and that's fantastic. So you're going to have a couple of options. If you want, you can type your questions right into the chat, and we'll make sure that we get those addressed as we go through our content today. But we are also going to pause here and there while we're going through today's presentation. During those pauses, I'm going to ask you to come off mute, get your questions out there. Let's make sure that we all share knowledge together. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest today. His name is Jeremy Conco, and he is from mojoPOS. Jeremy, good morning, sir.
Good evening and good morning. I
Correct.
am joining you all from a very, very rainy and wet England. So we have offices in Australia, the UK, and in Houston, Texas. And so I happen to be working on a project here in the UK this week. And so the timing is perfect towards the end of the day to meet all of you guys and give you a little overview of what we are up to. And then we will be down the pub as within about 5 minutes after the end of this call. So really looking forward to it. I don't know or recognize any of your names except for Mr. Wayne Stewart. So Wayne and I have known each other for quite a while, and he should take some responsibility for me being here today. So if you like what you hear, you can say thanks, Wayne. And if you don't, then you can take that up with Wayne yourself. So I am ready to get kicked off whenever it's you think we have the quorum and we're ready to go, Scott.
I think we're very much good to go right now, Jeremy. Why don't you go ahead, take it
Okay.
away?
All right.
And what I will do, my friend, is I'll keep an eye on the chat. And then when you take a little bit of that break, we'll jump in. We'll get some of those questions right in front of you, and we'll ask our audience to come off mute. Jeremy, the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, great. I'm going to share that and see what happened. So, of course, my screen absolutely disappeared what I was about to show you. So let's find out where it went. Let me stop that for a second. I apologize for that. I brought up the screen for Scott and now it disappeared on me. So we're having a little bit of a issue here. I'm just going to have to reopen it.
Looks like somebody was looking at houses at Zillow.
Yes, you are correct. Very observant. It was actually my spouse. Okay, so let me just bring up that again and find out what happened. Oh, there it is. Okay, it was there all the time.
Jeremy, while you're putting that up, just for everybody's knowledge, as far as POS goes, I mentioned at the very beginning of the call, this is going to be a referral partnership that we're going to be doing through Pay Compass. As we go through content today, we're going to give you guidance as far as product demonstrations, how to submit your deals, and everything else. Jeremy, I can see it up on my screen, my man. I think you're good to go. You
Perfect.
ready? Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much. So I am one of the two owners of Mojo POS, and we started the company about 8 or 9 years ago. And the two owners met on the side of a soccer field. Both of our daughters happened to play on the same team. And we developed the idea on bits of paper, wrote code during practice, and launched the company all in Houston, Texas. And since that time, we've we've grown and added offices in Australia and London based on our opportunities. So I'm originally from the UK, which is why I'm over here right now. And my business partner, Alon Raskin, who you will probably have the opportunity to meet every now and then, is based in Melbourne, Australia. So the real benefit of that to our customers and merchants, there's no real reason why you should care. But because of those time zones, that means that we've always got an active team online and ready and English speaking and available 24/7 for our merchants and customers. So they can always get through and can be quickly escalated. Okay. So I'm just going to walk through. So we are obviously, as our name suggests, we are a point of sale. We are very targeted towards a specific set of customers. And that is one we identified as the fastest growing group of customers, which is quick serve restaurants. So QSRs for short. It might also be known as counter service or fast casual, buffet cafeteria style. All of those business are currently the fastest growing segments in all of the markets in which we operate, and also the most profitable in those segments. One of the reasons we focused on it is staff is a challenge for some of the fine dining type customers. And so we focus on speed of transactions. So getting customers in and out as fast as possible so that our merchants can maximize their profit opportunities. So here's a few sort of examples of our customers. You'll see, barbecue places, burger places, coffee shops, bakeries, donuts, sushi, tacos. Those are sort of our sweet spot. Anywhere between 1 and 9 locations, typically, again, our sweet spot. So we're not selling into McDonald's or Taco Bell, those kind of places. But folks that start with a food truck and add 2 or 3 locations, that's sort of how we've grown our space. So what do? We make software. Our software consists of a number of different elements that are designed to work together to make the merchant's life easy and simple and cost effective. So you'll see here we have an administration portal. That's where all the reporting's done. It's where the menu's built. It's where the schedule's managed. So all of the administration around setting up menus, managing transactions, discounts, loyalty programs, gift cards, all of the sort of extra things that go around a POS, that's all managed within an admin portal that can be accessed from a phone, an iPad, a laptop, anywhere you want to. mojoPOS is cloud-based, so you can access it as long as you've got an internet connection, you can access it from anywhere in the world. In addition to the admin portal, obviously we have the main transaction engine, which is an iPad app or our POS app, which runs on the iPad. You can see that right here. We also have a customer-facing app for those merchants that want to have a customer-facing display and move transactions quickly. We are 360 POS, so we also offer online ordering for curbside, in-store pickup and delivery. That's also available. And then also for customers that want to integrate their live menu. So when they do pricing updates or when they do product or menu updates, it will automatically update on their live menu boards. Those are all software solutions that all integrate very simply and very cleanly so that you make one change in the admin portal and it will change your online menu, your POS menu, and your live menu all at the same time. Okay. So just to give you drill down a little bit more, I told Scott that I'm not going to do a demo today because I might, bore you to tears with minutia. But I am open to anyone who says, yes, I'm interested in the restaurant space or the QSR space, and I would like to drill down into a demonstration of the product itself. We're absolutely happy to do that, and we do it all the time. We don't expect you to sell our product. We just like you to find things that you find customers that you think would be a great solution for, and we could help them out. And you just say, hey, we like these guys. We think they'd like you. And then we set up a demo, and you can either join the demo if you like, if you think it's helpful to them, or you can just toss it over and we'll work through that. For referrals that we receive from our processors, we close about 80% of our referrals from processors, which is a good indication of that they're qualifying that customer really, really well. I'd like to say it's all us and we're doing a great job, but we're getting really good qualified customers so that we will sign them up at the end of the demo. Our QSR software has some, sort of basic elements here. Obviously, I mentioned the online ordering and the in-person ordering. We also have order status texts. So if you're a walk-in customer or an online customer, you're going to get a text message when your order's ready for pickup. We have additional add-ons where we have employee timesheets for clock in, clock out if they want to do that. We have cash discount program, which is slowly picking up some pace. So cash discount program is a little bit different from surcharge. But for us to enable cash discount program, it's just a flag on an account. So we can literally set it up overnight for a customer. There's some basic requirements that the cards require the merchant to process, but from our standpoint, we can turn it on overnight. As I mentioned, we have a customer-facing screen. We have a kitchen display. So if they don't want to use printers, we have a kitchen display system, which is available in the Google Play Store. So they can just add an Android tablet for their KDS. And that's also part of the system. I'd mentioned that we have website design and hosting and integration into Google My Business. So also very important to growing their online sales presence and driving online sales direct to the merchant. The third-party delivery apps and pickup apps, while they're wonderful marketing tools, that's really what they should be used for, because the margins that they charge are really a problem for our merchants. So we try and drive as much direct ordering to the merchants as possible. And to do that, they've got to have the technology available, and it's got to be simple to do that. A couple other things, digital gift cards. Those are available on Apple and Google Wallet. So the customers can carry those around, earn loyalty points, etc. And then we also have digital gift cards and physical gift cards. So all of those elements are all available as either part of the programs or very, very, very cost-effective add-ons. So, and I'll walk you through some of the pricing on that a little bit later. Before I move to the hardware section, maybe Scott, this is a good time if anyone's got questions.
You bet, Jeremy. So I'm keeping track of all the questions in the chat. And to you, the audience, when you put a question in the chat, if you see me give it a thumbs up, that means that I saw your question, and I'm going to make sure that we get it in front of our guest panelists. So, Jeremy, the first question that came up, is your home-facing screen interactive for card, tip, and signature?
Yes.
Right. Second question that I have here in the chat, my friend. Do you have an online demo for reps to look at?
Yes, we typically what we'll do, the first one, we'd like to do in person, because we don't like to do an online demo for merchants, primarily because every merchant is a little bit unique. So before we do a demo, we like to ask a few questions about their operations. It's very hard to create one demo that fits all. Or it would be about 3 hours long if you go through each iteration. So typically, when we're doing a demo with a merchant, we'll ask a few questions about their operations, and then we can tailor that demo to how they run their business. And it really helps closing that because they really feel they've got a tailored solution.
Jeremy, let me just throw the question out there too. So, as far as tailoring a demo for a specific customer, I mean, to your point, back in the day when I used to work for a POS company,
Yep.
when I used to do the demos, I was guilty of being that guy
Mhm.
that went through everything from soup to nuts, from front of house to back of house,
Yeah.
put them to sleep. I mean, it's no wonder why I didn't sell anything. That's why they made me a product trainer. Um, but with that said, though, what are some of the things that are helpful for you,
Mhm.
on the off chance that you are doing whether a live demo in person or doing a demo
Yep.
online? Like, what are
Yep.
some of those key things that our audience should be asking those merchants?
Well, the key thing is what does the customer do when they come in? Do they place an order before they go to checkout? So we have multiple different scenarios. How does the front house talk to the kitchen? Do they have kitchen printers? Do they not have kitchen printers? Do they have a KDS? So all of those things are relevant in terms of, step by step in terms of how that customer first comes into the store, places the order, how does that order get to the kitchen, and then how does the kitchen deliver that order to the customer. And those steps in terms of what are they doing right now, what can they keep doing, and what will they need to change. No one really likes change. So the key thing is to say, yes, this is a new system, but the great news is you're really not going to have to change your current operations because we will adapt to it, and this is how we adapt to it. So they want to see, and it's one of those classic things. They want to see, I want to use the latest tech and I want to see great improvement, but I'm really hoping there's not a huge change for me to train my staff on. So we're sort of running that gamut, if that makes sense. Because if they first see, they just go and see an online demo, they're like, oh, well, this looks nothing like what I have now. And yes, I want to change, but I'm nervous. So you sort of have to get them on board first before you walk them through the software, if that's helpful at all. That's my experience.
And Jeremy, I have one more question that I want to throw out
Yeah.
at you. Oh, actually, I've got two more questions. You guys are keeping me on my toes.
Great.
Done,
Good.
team. So, Jeremy, the next question that I have for you, my friend, which POS systems would you say you compete with directly? Is it Clover? Is it Harbor Touch? Who would you say is probably your biggest competition that you can
So
compare Mojo POS to?
Square, Clover, Toast are typically the ones we run across. Maybe I don't see Harbor Touch very much, but Clover and Square are typically the ones that we run across.
Yeah, I read the
Yeah.
word Harbor Touch and actually had flashbacks. I was like, "Ooh, are they still around?" Gosh.
Yeah.
Got another question for you.
We've replaced a lot of Harbor Touch, but I don't see them out much now, if that's helpful.
Honestly, it's been a long time since I've even heard the name Harbor Touch. So just the fact that we kicked it old school and threw that in the chat, nicely
Yeah,
done.
that's good. If you see one, give me a call because I think it's a great
Absolutely.
opportunity.
No, we'll turn it into a scavenger hunt for our audience where if they can find a Harbor Touch, take a picture of it, send it to us. And team, you actually get bonus points if you could take a picture of a knuckle buster. So we want to see those pictures. Send them on over to me. Jerry, I got another question for you, my friend. So what payment devices are we using with Mojo POS? Is it PAX? Is it Ingenico, Verifone? What have we got,
So,
friend?
so Pathwood. So we're going to be integrating with PayCompass. We'll be with Pathwood, and so the Pathwood uses the Card Connect. It's a VP3300 Bluetooth card reader. That's what we launched with. Now they will be releasing some new devices. I think either Q2 or Q3. So that will give us more access to some Ingenico cloud devices, as well as some Clover cloud devices and Clover Flex. So right now, all of our integrations with Card Connect, Card Point are with the ID Tech VP3300 BT Bluetooth mobile device.
All right. For the most part, looks like questions Looks like we got them all taken care of. Jeremy, go ahead and continue on. To you, the audience, keep those questions rolling. Let's all learn together. Get your questions in the chat. And don't forget, at some point in time, we'll take a little bit of a break. You can come off mute and you can talk to Jeremy yourself. Jeremy, go ahead, my friend. Take it away.
Okay, so that was a good segue. You were asking about the card reader, and here is the VP3300 Bluetooth. So mojoPOS itself, we do integrate with PAX terminals and Ingenico terminals, but with Pathward, it will start out with this device, which is again the VP3300, and for tap, swipe, and insert. In terms of other hardware, obviously iPad is the centric. We are iOS centric for all transaction and customer facing screens. But we do support KDS terminals on an Android or a Samsung device in the back of house. Why the difference? We like the security that the iOS closed environment provides us. For transactions, but that's really not necessary for the KDS. We're just displaying it. There's no transaction information going through that. So that's why we can use a cheaper device like an Android or a Samsung. So hopefully that. Printers, we support Star Micronics and Epson. So why is that important? Because many times you can go in to a merchant and they've got existing printers that we can reuse. And Epson and Star Micronics combined probably represent, I would say, 85 to 90% of the market. So it can be a real cost savings for the customer. They can save money on the printers, which are the most expensive of any of the hardware that they will have to buy. And then probably the cash draws. If the cash draws already work with their existing printers, we will support those as well. So really the only thing they would need to buy is the iPads and the card readers. So that
Jeremy,
is good. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, since you just uttered the words that they would be responsible for buying the iPad, this kind of ties into one of the questions that literally just popped up in the chat as those words were flowing out of your mouth, my friend.
Okay.
Can the customer provide their own iPad as long as it meets requirements?
In fact, we prefer them to. We give the customer the option. They can buy it themselves, or we can put the order together for them if they're a little nervous about making sure. So what we will do at the end of the demo, because we've asked the customer the questions about how their operations work, we will actually put basically a pick list or an order list of hardware, and that will go out to an email with a link to purchase each item that they've put on the list. But we'll also give them the option, if you don't want to do that, then we could put it together for you. So we have distribution agreements with the major hardware folks, so we can put that order and have it shipped to them. But I would say about 80% of the time, the customer just uses that list to purchase the items.
Yeah.
Okay. And most of them are available on Amazon. So they get either Amazon discount or next day Prime shipping. So it's very good. There's no proprietary hardware, so they're not having to wait for something or pay a huge amount for a certain hardware, and oftentimes they'll have it available. So, and all of the hardware that we recommend is all, we've been around the block. We've seen bad examples and good examples. So everything is tried and tested, and what we consider best practices for the hardware solutions. We also support. Yep.
Yeah, and I was going to say, obviously, if you do have somebody that wants to utilize their own iPad, it's safe to assume you're going to set them up for success by letting them know it needs to be this version.
Yep, exactly. So that again will be on that email, and we'll discuss it up front. Yeah, we don't, if they say I my grandmother's iPad, she's not using it anymore, that she bought in 1985. Then we'll say, well, that's great, but probably not good for us, because the life of an iPad in terms of Apple support is about 3 years. So each year we're going to update it and say, hey, this is the minimum iOS, and this is the life you can expect for it. Okay.
She did say iPad. Just very quickly, do you ever have folks that want to do things on an iPhone as far as transactions go?
No. Not really. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, no, it's not for our customer base. Typically, it's not an iPhone based thing. However, I will be showing you something on an iPhone now that I mentioned that. I will be showing you something on an iPhone relatively shortly. I'm going to give a brief overview of a new product we're working on.
Okay, that was a good tee
So
up. So go ahead.
on the mobile iPad. So people do have mobile iPad enclosures, and we work with a company called Vault, which has built-in battery backup and an enclosure for the VP3300. So line busting, drive-through, etc. That is an option. We also integrate with Star Micronics Bluetooth scale. Also very, very cost effective, a great scale for people selling things by salad bar by the weight or other items by weight. That interfaces so that it's just a quick Bluetooth connection, no wires, nothing. It's a very, very simple setup. And socket scanners, if they're selling any barcoded items, all of those are available. Okay. Pricing. I know this is going to be top, and I'm sure there'll be some more questions on pricing. But one of the key benefits of mojoPOS is there's no contract. There's no setup fees. There's no contract. The pricing is completely transparent. For online ordering only, I actually literally just before I got on this call, we got a new online ordering customer and could not believe his luck. $49 a month, no transaction fees. So they can sell as many tacos, as many burgers, as much barbecue as they want for $49 a month and no setup fees. That's the online ordering. If they want to do walk up and online ordering, sort of the 360 experience, it's just $30 more. So it's $79 a month. So if you do run into a customer that's locked in a contract, we can always start with the online ordering and then migrate them up once their contract is over. All of those are good. In terms of $79 a month, what do you get for that? You get use on up to 2 iPads. So, and then each additional, so if they need 3 iPads or 4 iPads, different stations, then it's $79 a month for the first 2, and then $10 a month for each additional. So if they had 3 iPads, 3 terminals, it would be $89 a month. If they had 4, it would be $99 a month. Okay. Any questions on pricing? Anything pop up, Scott, on the pricing?
Seeing anything in the chat, but you know what, Jeremy? Why don't we pause very quickly and I'll say to you, the audience, now's a great time to come off mute. Get your questions out there. Pricing, anything else that Jeremy's covered? Not even going to ask you to use a raised hand feature. Just come off mute, get your questions right out there. Let's see what we can get.
Say if they have about 4 or 5 different stations,
Yep.
does this SaaS fee all encompass their total number of stations, or is it per station?
So yes, $79 a month is for the first 2 stations, and then $10 for each additional station above 2.
Thanks.
Okay.
Is there any
Yeah.
compensation on this, or is this just to help us sell payments?
Right now, it's just to help you sell payments. We have not changed our pricing for since we started the company. So while our competitors continue to add fees and add this and that, we have maintained what we consider a price that is very cost effective for the individual business owner, the small business owner. And as a result, our churn of customers is one of the lowest in the industry for software as a service.
It's a good price. I could sell payments with that.
Okay, we like you, Carol, and anytime you want to dig a little deeper, you just let us know. Where are you based, Carol?
I am in Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, just
Home
up
of
the
the Harbor
road.
Touches, apparently.
Home of the Harbor Touch. All right. Well, good. Okay. Well, I'm gonna scoot on a little bit. and sort of give you again the focus on how mojoPOS, how we interface. So again, we have walk-up customers for the standard POS and online. I did want to reference again, we can build merchants' websites. And again, just right before I got on this call, we had a merchant who said, I want to do online ordering. I said, that's great. I'll show you how easy it is to hook it into your website. He's like, we don't have a website. I said, okay, well, that's something we really want to do. So we don't mind if the customer has their own web designer and they want to build their own website. That's great. As soon as they create an account, we automatically generate a URL that will take their web designer less than 5 minutes to add our online ordering to their website. So they don't have to worry about cost. And if their developer is charging them for an hour to do it, then 55 minutes of that time was spent having a coffee or doing something else, because it literally takes 5 minutes. Why might they want to use our web design? The nice thing about ours is it integrates completely with mojoPOS, so that if you update a menu, the menu, your schedule, everything is automatically updated on your website. Whereas if they got a third party, it won't do that. So there is a benefit to having a mojoPOS website as well, because it will interface with Google My Business. It will update in real time all your menus, all your pricing. So there is a benefit to that. So that's why I sort of mentioned the smart web here. And then we've got, again, fast casual counter service, a kiosk option, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later, in-store curbside, and self-delivery. Okay. Now, onboarding. So this is really important, because, especially to you guys, because once you get a new merchant on board, the key is to get them up and running and transacting as quick as possible. We were trained in rapid onboarding through the School of Hard Knocks, which was COVID. So we had many, many customers that had no online ordering prior to COVID, and we were getting them up and running, menu built, live transacting within 24 hours. That's from demo to live in 24 hours. So that means that within that 24 hours, we've got to sign them up, get the credentials from the processor, build the menu, sometimes build the website, and get them up and running and transacting. So that was for online ordering. Obviously, if you have to ship a terminal to them, then that might take time. But getting an iPad in a hurry, they can get one at Best Buy or Costco or pretty much anywhere. So there really is no delay in getting that up and running. So how quickly can we move? We can move very quickly. Typically, the longest lead time is just getting the printer shipped in or the card reader shipped in. But other than that, because there's no contract, there's no paperwork for them to sign with mojoPOS. There's no upfront costs for account setup, because we do the menu. We provide free training up front. As soon as they have their equipment in-house, we will do the training. It's unlimited training, so they can do as much directly, or we will send them videos if they prefer to do that on their own time. And then they bring their own iPad if they want, or again, we can order the equipment. So it's really very frictionless onboarding process. That helps.
For me, very quickly, if you don't mind me asking, what is the preferred method for a menu submission for the menu build out?
So we'll take it in any digital form. So
Okay.
if it's PDF, if they have an existing online service that's using it, if it's a spreadsheet, if it's a Word document, what we don't want is a photo of a menu.
Yeah.
Right. So that is, because if that menu is printed, there's usually a PDF somewhere, and so that's it. If there's no way for them to provide a digital format, then we do charge $149 if they need us to essentially build it from a photo or some sort of output from some other POS system. if that makes sense. And a lot of that is really driven by accuracy. So it's a digital format is going to give us the most accurate information, which means we can move quickly and get it completed. Okay. So in terms of our onboarding process, we'll do the demo. As I mentioned, we'll continue the qualification process in understanding what's going on at that restaurant. We will, at the end of the demo, we send an email. We will copy the processing, your sales rep, the PayCompass rep, on every email until the customer goes live. So they know exactly what's going on with us, what conversation. They can feel free to jump in if they want, but typically we're just doing status updates on the process with the merchant until they go live. After they go live, then all the communication will sort of move to our support team or onboarding team. Okay. So self-service creation, free menu setup. Then we do the pathway activation, and that's for card present and card not present. So those credentials come in, we test them. We test them for both card present, e-commerce. We check that each transaction is going to the back end into the Copilot or CardPoint system, and then we're up and running. Okay. Any questions on onboarding process? Because again, you're at the front end of that, but it can be nervous if you feel like I've just taken my customer and put them in our hands. But we do loop the rep in at every step along the way. It's really important that we keep you in the communication loop.
And Jeremy, I'm not seeing any onboarding questions that are popping into the chat. However, it's another good opportunity to throw it out to you, the sales agent. Come off mute. What questions do you have regarding onboarding? And then once we take your questions, you can continue on, Jeremy. So
Okay.
onboarding questions, we'll take those right now, friends.
Hey, Jeremy, it's not quite an onboarding question, but I know you talked about what you guys work best with. Can you maybe give us an idea of what maybe you're not the best fit for other than like fine dining? Is there do you work well with distilleries or breweries, or what are things that maybe we might think might be a good fit, but in actuality aren't a great fit for you?
Yeah, I would say when I say fine dining, it really means sort of it doesn't have to be fine dining, but table service, right? Where you have a lot of servers going to a lot of different tables. We are much more better configured for the counter service where the customer pays when they order or orders and then pays later, but from the counter as opposed to lots and lots of different servers, if that makes sense. So we don't compete well with like Micros, for example. Does that make sense? Or NCR, those guys who really focus on the the table service type businesses.
Yeah, that helps. I appreciate it. How are you guys with breweries and distilleries?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. Yep. We love beer, so that's all good.
From start to finish, we send you the menu. How long before it's done?
That's a very good question. So obviously it depends on the size of the menu. So typically a barbecue taco burger place is 24 to 36 hours. If it's a Mexican restaurant, it might be 3 days or more. So does that help?
That's where I play is a Mexican food restaurant.
No, that's fine. We have lots of Mexican food. It's not like we don't like them. It just takes a little longer, right? Because there's a lot of variations and a lot of options, right? So we love Mexican restaurants. We have a lot of Mexican restaurants, and no issue. But we like to be aware up front that it typically takes a little bit longer for a Mexican restaurant menu than it does for some of the others.
Well, thank you.
Basically, Steve, your number one question is, so how many modifiers do you have?
Exactly.
And I think that'll tell you how long the build out will be.
Right. Okay, here's a few things that are sort of free or cheap benefits that come along. So we run into a lot of customers that are either using 5-star and paying $100 or $200 a month for their loyalty program. And if you do it with mojoPOS, it's $10. All right. So it's $10 for the loyalty program or $10 for the gift card program. And we'll design the card. So it's a digital card for loyalty. We'll design that card for their Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. And gift card, they have the choice. They can do a digital gift card that can be purchased online, or they can. We work with e-card systems if they want a plastic card or plastic card, sorry, for their customers to hand out at holidays, etc. Okay. Employee timesheets. So we have clock in, clock out. That's all included if they want to enable it. The online ordering, that's included again with the $79 POS. We have unlimited training. So bring on, people have a lot of turnover in their staff. If ever they want to just sign up and have another training session, we give them a link. They can just schedule it themselves. Support. We really feel that we excel in the support area. One, because we don't outsource our support. All of the support is answered by a mojoPOS employee, and it's going to be in one of our centers, which is Melbourne or England or Houston. While we have a phone support, we prefer our customers, and turns out they prefer it, because restaurants and those types of businesses can be loud environments. We always suggest they start with a text message. What's the benefit of a text message? One, it's going to be seen by multiple people, and our support staff can handle multiple text conversations efficiently. So they can start with a text message. We typically give a response within 1 to 2 minutes of receiving that text message. If it needs to get escalated, whereby we actually have to have a camera, then we'll switch it to a FaceTime call so that we can see the situation in front. But 99% of the time, we can resolve that situation because we can log into their account remotely and then respond, or send them a video to their phone so that they can play the video to if it was a setup question or something like that. Okay. So again, support is something that we like to think that we really excel on, whereas some of our competitors, it's the one issue, right? I've been online for an hour with these guys, or waiting for someone to call me back, etc. I think you could talk to 100% of our customers and never get that response. Let's see. Again, off-the-shelf hardware. So there's no proprietary hardware. If something breaks, something drops, they can get it shipped next day from Amazon, and they're back in business. It's not waiting for us to respond to get them more hardware. Okay. Kitchen display. If they want to use a KDS as opposed to printers, it's $15 a month for each KDS terminal that they're using. Smart website, that pricing is actually incorrect, so I apologize for that. It's actually $149 for the website setup, and then $20 a month for hosting, and then we do have some integrations as well. Okay. Oh, actually, I'm going to ask for some questions before I go to the next slide. Are there any? We're about 15 minutes to the end, so I wanted to take a few minutes to show you a quick demo. And it is going to be very quick, but hopefully you like it. But I wanted to open it up for questions before I give you the quick demo.
I'll tell you what I'll do, Jeremy, just because you're a seasoned pro. I'll read the questions to you. That'll give you an opportunity to get your demo pulled up.
Okay, I'll
And
do
then
that.
from there, you can share your demo, and then we'll go through the rest of the questions. First question that I have here. Does the customer-facing screen require another iPad?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have a signature and tipping options?
Yes.
Okay. You're breezing right through this. You are a seasoned pro. Jeremy, is there any table mapping available with Mojo?
No. Primarily because we really don't focus on the table service.
Or
so
quick service and
table mapping. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. And I believe you covered this, the cost for the website build and the monthly maintenance. We just discussed that. That was the 149 with the 20, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you mention Android so that if you can work with packs at least with a front-facing screen?
If I understand the question is, yes, we integrate with all the PAX terminals. It's sort of processor based, if that makes sense. So our PAX implementations are currently with other processors, which is Heartland, be completely transparent, Heartland and Clearant are PAX terminals, and then our other customers are either Ingenico or the ID Tech VP3300.
Questions here. Integration with third-party aggregates.
We have tried 2 or 3, but all have been unsuccessful from our merchant standpoint. So we've done this for merchants, but they've kept Mojo and said, we don't want to use the aggregator. So we think, and primarily they've found poor support from the aggregators. Either we've showed them our support and they get used to it, and when they go to someone else, they're not getting it. But we haven't found a solution that we're willing to bet the farm on at this point, if that's helpful.
Some of the context that actually ties into that question. Obviously, we'd encourage them to drive traffic to their own website without extra third-party commissions, but it's a must for many of the business that our sales agents talk to.
Yeah.
Here's a great question. Hey, Jeremy, do you have any brochures or any collateral that we're going to be sharing with our agents today?
We do. I won't do it right during the demo, but I will make it available to your team. And we've sent some basic pricing and hardware information out, but we're happy to send as much as we'll coordinate that with Scott and with I'm trying to remember, is it Jackie?
And Jeannie.
Jeannie, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
we'll do that. So, Jeremy, let me ask you this question. How much time would you need to do the demo that you would like to show? I do have more questions in the chat, but I want to be respectful of your time, my friend.
Maybe 5 minutes, I think.
All right. Would you like to take it over from here, and then we can wrap it all up with more questions?
Perfect. So what you see on your screen right here is an area of focus and research that we've been working on for about 6 months. And this is a result of conversations that we've had with our customers in terms of the value of their customers. POS companies tend to treat, most POS companies are looking at transactions, and we really don't delve too much into the individual customers for the merchant. So we started to talk to some customers and about their problems, their issues, opportunities, etc. And one thing that kept coming up was how can we treat our repeat customers better, improve the satisfaction of our repeat customers, because they are our most valuable customers. All customers are valuable, but some customers are more valuable than others. And the more we delved into it, the more research we did, we found that the repeat customers spend 67% more dollars than new customers. And why is that? Well, the psychology around that is because repeat customers have already developed a trusting relationship with the merchant and therefore are willing to, spend more money or part with more of their hard-earned cash with that merchant. So the more we delved into this, the more we focused on how do we make the experience for repeat customers better at quick serve restaurants. We also found that 90% of repeat customers order the same order when they go back. So I have a special coffee, I have a meal for my family that we order every Friday night. We always have it, and I want to make sure that experience is good, right? And I can manage that satisfaction. So that gives you a sort of a basis of where we were going, right? And then we looked at also, for those repeat customers, we want to make that experience good. There's nothing more frustrating than going to a coffee shop. I know what I want because I go in there every Wednesday. And yet there's 2 people in front of me who are trying to figure out the menu, not sure how to order, and the line gets longer, and they've got lots of questions. And I really just want to order my usual coffee because I got to get to work, and I always have this same vanilla latte, et cetera, on a Monday. So I've got to wait in line. I've got to spend time ordering and paying and then waiting for my food, right? Or my drink. So we studied this, the wait in line, the order and paying, how much time is spent, how can we make this more efficient for the merchant and more satisfying for the repeat customer. So this formula over here is simply customer satisfaction equals perception minus experience, right? Or expectation. So we wanted to see, how can we reduce this wait in line? How can we reduce this time spent ordering and paying, right? So what we developed is a product which is called Slay the Rush, right? The rush is when merchants make the most money during those peak periods. And yet, during those peak periods is when they can frustrate their repeat customers. It's high labor costs, and all of those can impact their profits. So we said, how can we improve that experience? So I'm going to show you a little, if I can leave this and hopefully switch to this, which I can. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and then I'm going to reshare. Okay. And see, you should be able to see a phone and an iPad and let me know when you do, Scott. Okay. Are you able to see a phone and an iPad?
Yes, I can see a phone and an iPad. I just wasn't clever enough to take myself off mute. But yes, I see a phone and an iPad. Take it away. Sorry.
Perfect. So everyone is familiar with the, Uber apps and DoorDash apps, and, a lot of restaurants have their own apps, or they've got websites online that I can access through the phone. All of those take steps. I've got to put my name in. I've got to put my phone number in. I've got to click on the app. I've got to select each of the items. I'm ordering 10 items. I've got to do that every time I go through the process. So we thought, and we challenged our engineers, could we do it better? So we thought, just like my favorite friends, I have those just in my contact list. So here you can see my phone. So here's my contact list. Here's my favorites. And here's the place I always order from. Happens to be CJ's, but this is just my phone. Or you can see all my other contacts in here. But favorites, this is the place I order my food from, right? So if I want to order from CJ's, let's say it's a Friday night, I usually get an Indian for the family. I'm going to order that. And all I have to do is send them a text message. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to order my usual. Okay. So I'm going to say, I'd like my usual. It's a, it's a Friday evening. I've asked for, to order my usual food, and boom. Look at that. Okay. So that's all it took. I've got all the food for the family. And do I need anything else? Nope, I don't. So I'm going to send that off, right? So I've got my order for, looks like this is a big order. So this is my family, my relatives, everyone overs for a Friday night. I don't think I need anything else. And so in this point, I'm just going to say no. And let's make sure boom, got it. Your rush text order is $243 and will be charged to your card on file. Okay. So all I did is I said my usual and I said no, and I've got my repeat order in automatically. So if we go to the iPad, which you can see here, there's my order $243 for $126.18, which matches $126.18. Thanks, developers. And I click on that. There's my order and I accept it. Okay, so we're going to go through the processor. They're going to accept it. My on-site order has been confirmed. So now we're going to be in the restaurant here, and there's order 243, and I'm going to mark that as ready. Boom. Okay. So again, all I had to do, I'm a repeat customer. I want my regular. I want to skip the wait line. I want to skip the order process. I want to skip the pay process. I just want to say my usual. So that is a very quick demo. This is a product that we're working with a number of pilot customers now, but hope to release it later this quarter live. Okay, so I'm going to finish up there, see if there's any other questions on this or other. This service is called Rush Text. And I'm going to stop sharing there, and then we'll go back to the main presentation. Okay.
Hold up. Would you like to field a few more questions very quickly?
On the customer facing screen, does that count as another iPad, or
Yes,
is that just
it does count as another iPad, correct?
so it would be the $79 would be those two?
Correct.
Okay. And then if they had another one, that would be an extra $10.
Correct.
Okay. And that does have to be an iPad. That cannot be an Android, smaller Android tablet.
Correct.
Okay.
It can be an iPad mini. It can be any size iPad, but it does have to be an iOS.
Okay. So it could be a mini and it's just basically emulating at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
It's actually a separate app. It's not really emulating, it's a separate app.
Oh,
We have
okay.
a customer-facing app, and they just talk to each other.
Yeah.
Looks like you're going to show our audience how to book time with you, correct, Jeremy?
Yeah, so there's simply a calendly.com link here. You can go to this link and schedule either a 30-minute online, typically a 45-minute if it's POS and online, and you can schedule that demo. It'll come in. You pick the date and time that works for your merchant, and again, you're happy to join that, or you can have your merchant in there as well. We will run a complete end-to-end demo. And again, if anyone wants to say, hey, before I get merchants here, I'd like to sit through that demo, you just schedule it for yourself. So we have reps all the time scheduling it just from familiarization, and then we can walk through some of the obstacles that you might run into, and we can address those.
Hey, Jeremy,
Yeah, Steve.
I have a 4-location Mexican food restaurant that is using Heartland POS.
Okay.
And everything is iPad. The KDSs are all iPad. Can we reuse that equipment?
You can, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I'm going to meet with him again today. I'll be setting up a demo.
Perfect. All right, Steve. Good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Can we set up the demos with our sales team or Scott? How do we get a demo set up, guys?
just use that link. You click on that this link right here. I'm going to share this link with Scott to share with the team, and then you can just click on the link and pick a date and time.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, you basically you'll be looking at our demo calendar and just pick a date and time that works for you or your team. And then once you have if you're on the phone with a merchant or in front of a merchant, you can just bring it up yourself and pick on one right there. You don't have to call us and try and go back and forth and find one. Just use the link.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
Hey, on that demo you just showed us, is the usual order created after their first order, or after several orders?
Well, they do have, no, they do have to create an order. So yeah, so when they create an order, we know their phone number, we know who they are, and I took you through. I sort of skipped the first step, which is start your order. But once you've had an order, we know that. So then we use that going forward.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Hey,
And again, we can show demos of the Rush text as well. Yeah.
Jeremy, I hate to be pushy. I'm sorry. But could you send out a cut sheet so I can take that with me today?
A cut sheet
On your product. You know, mojoPOS, this is what it does, yada, yada,
Oh,
yada.
sure. Yeah. I will. Yep. It might be tomorrow morning. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Scott, would you be able to send me a list of email addresses just to make sure I've got everyone's? Because I don't think there was a presentation list. So just to make sure I've got Steve's email address, etc.
What we could do
I
is
think, I
can
guess you could pop on your website as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say I can coordinate with my team on the back end as far as getting that
Perfect.
collateral out there, Jeremy.
Okay. Sounds
Absolutely.
great. Okay, great.
All right. So, Jeremy, my friend, did you have anything else that you wanted to share? Because boy, oh boy, our friends over here blew up the chat. We got more questions for you. Didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to share on the screen, my friend.
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, buckle up. We got questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Um, if the merchant wishes to do so, can the merchant set up their own menu?
Yes.
Okay. I think I already know the answer to this, but let's just get it out there. Are grocery stores and mini marts type businesses a good fit?
I mean, they're really not our target. Do we have some? Yes. They're successful, yes. But we're really not designed to be a grocery store. So I don't think, some of the things that they might require might be too much. But we do have some customers that have maybe 100 or 200 barcoded items, but not really a grocery store.
Can mojoPOS work with Factor 4 gift cards?
We work with e-card systems gift cards. I'm not familiar with four-factor, so I would
Okay.
say no. But I'll send a note to our dev team.
Spanish support for any of our Hispanic merchants that are using mojoPOS?
Not currently.
Jeremy. Jeremy.
Yes. Yes, Alon.
Apologies for jumping in. We do support Spanish for the wait staff and the service staff, right? So they can print the kitchen tickets. They can print the kitchen tickets to the kitchen staff in Chinese or Spanish or whatever language they like.
Excellent. Thank you, Alon. Appreciate that. For the website, just to be clear, it's mojoPOS that builds it. So it's not like the merchant needs someone to build it for them and provide them with all the artwork and everything else, correct?
That's correct.
Table mapping, we already answered that one. The cost of the website build, we covered that one. Oh, here's a great one. I love this question. Splitting tickets with either cash or card.
Say that again.
The ability to split a ticket, whether it's cash or whether it's a card transaction.
Yes.
If Mojo, are you able? Yeah, my screen moved. Are you able to run pre-auths for bar tabs?
Alon,
can you answer that question as it relates
I did. I answered in the chat, but let me answer it so everyone hears it. So we do not run pre-auths or incremental auths like you would in a typical bar. All we do is we will swipe the card and store it securely. And then you can charge the card at the end of the night. You can do your tip adjust and all that sort of typical bar scenario, but it's not actual incremental auths, which puts a hold on the amount that just because we found there's a lot of issues around, the money being held up for 3 days after I leave the bar if I don't end up using that particular thing. So we just simplified the process, and you can store a card on file, but it's not actual incremental auth.
Thank you. Looks like I got all of the questions in the chat. So what I'm going to do now to you, the sales agent, going to open it up to you one more time. Good opportunity for you to come off mute and get your question out there while we've got our Mojo experts on the call with us. So we're going to open it up right now before we break.
You don't have to be shy. We've got a global. So Alon has very kindly joined us from Australia. I don't know what time in the morning it is. It's like 5 in the morning or something. But thank you, Alon, for joining.
No worries. And it's 6.
Oh, 6. Okay. 7 p.m. here, 6 a.m. in Australia. And what
to really blow your mind, it's 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Oh, no, sorry, on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Yeah, sorry, Wednesday. So it's tomorrow. Yeah.
question popped up in the chat. iPads, safe to assume they're all portable, as in, I believe you brought up the scenario line busting, correct?
Yeah, yeah, they're on Wi-Fi, so the location is driven by the Wi-Fi signal. That makes sense.
Thank you. All right, audience going once, going twice. You got the man on the call right now.
Yeah, and
Any other
again, you don't come up with a question till later, you can reach out to us, schedule a demo. I know Steve will. I guaranteed you Wayne will. So and Carol. So we'll look forward to meeting you one-on-one. Great.
All right.
Thank you very, very much for your time, and thanks, Scott, for being a tremendous MC to the event. And we look forward to getting kicked off to some exciting things.
All right. And to you, the sales agent, we're not done yet. We've got more Toolbox Tuesdays coming up for the month of February. I would say watch next week. We're probably going to get those invitations sent out to you. As always, looking forward to working with each and every single one of you. But before we wrap, let's give a little bit of love to Jeremy for making the time to meet with us today. Jeremy, domo arigato. Thank you very much, my friend. And a special shout out to Alon, who is on the back end answering some of those questions in the chat. We appreciate it very much. This recording will be sent out later. And until we meet again, make it a fantastic day. And thank you for joining us here for Toolbox Tuesday. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.